And this is the Saturday Coffee Klatch with Heather Lofthouse and yours truly, Robert Reich. Heather, you are looking so happy tonight.
Oh, no.
We're having, we are in the midst, we are actually, I believe, inside a fascist state right now. Really, there's no particular point at which you can say, okay, we're now there.
We tipped.
But I think we did tip this week. By the way, Trump met with Putin yesterday.
Of course.
The big fear was that he is so intent on making a deal. He wants to show that Trump, that is. And remember, in 2018, in Helsinki, he met with Putin. And Putin just took advantage of him. And everybody was very upset. Trump took the side of Putin against American intelligence and what American intelligence was saying. So the real fear is that Putin is going to take Trump out to dry.
But also, we got to remember, part of what's happening is Ukraine is under siege. Zelensky will have to be part of this deal. I hate to even use the term as it relates to Donald Trump because it will be a creepy deal. But Zelensky is part of what's called a democracy, right?
Yes, and that means that not only does Zelensky, have to be part of a deal, but he's got to be able to sell it to the Ukrainian people who have sacrificed, everything, including their lives, many of them, for their country. So this is not something that Donald Trump can ride roughshod over.
We'll have to see. But talk about authoritarians. This is his authoritarian streak that we are watching.
Well, I've been using the term fascist, and I think there's a difference. And the difference, in a nutshell, is that an authoritarian is someone who really doesn't believe in democratic institutions and believes instead in centralized power. But a fascist is someone who believes that he himself, and I'm going to use the gender term he because we don't know and we don't have experience with any woman in this position, he himself has all of the power, and all of the power emerges and comes from him himself, and that he is indestructible, and he is, in a sense, the font of all wisdom and daring and insight.
Which brings us to Washington, D.C.
The takeover and occupation of Washington, D.C. without any pretext at all.
Well, fake pretext.
A fake pretext is just, to me, the essence of fascism.
I know. It's a phantom pretext. But it's 30 days, so we can get into it.
It's 30 days. We will get into it. But I just wanted, it's 30 days, but Congress can renew it.
Exactly.
And you know that Congress is just, with the Republicans, who are zombies, they will rubber stamp whatever he wants.
Extended. I know.
Well, we'll get into this. Okay. What else do you want to talk about?
Okay, how are you?
Well, I have fluctuated this week. Mm-hmm. I've been, there have been moments of triumph. There have been moments of sadness. There have been moments of real anger. But I'm trying to work on myself, Heather.
I love this.
Well, I'm being very...
Would that we all could be working on ourselves?
We can all work on ourselves. But I'm trying to turn my anger into something else, into either action or sadness.
How hard do you have to try to do that? Because some people, I feel like, go immediate, like just channel and just, whoom, I am so angry and I'm doing stuff. And some people have to really say, okay, and kind of ramp themselves up.
No, I'm pretty quick to turn my anger into action.
Seems like it. Or at least a Substack.
Or a Substack. I put a lot of my frustration and outrage into Substack and a lot of the other things we're doing. But how about you? How do you handle your frustration? And
I try to do, if I'm super frustrated, I try to do something physical. Walk the dog, jumping jacks.
You were always an athlete, weren't you?
Thank
you.
You
were always,
Thank
no,
you
it's
for
true.
noticing.
It's true. You were always very, very physical, and you're out there doing stuff.
Well, in high school. Some people were real athletes in college and stuff.
I always, even when I was a kid, I turned my frustration into sitting at my desk writing.
Interesting.
Really,
and also doodling and cartooning and drawing.
I was such a dork. I
No.
still am. No, it's fun. I mean, part of becoming an adult and an older adult and then a very old adult is accepting who
you
you
have
are.
de-dorkified over time. I have
de-dorkified?
Yeah, I've noticed this trend.
So what else should we...
Okay, so let's get to it for
What
real.
are we going to talk about?
For real, for real. So
De-dorkified.
let's talk about the occupation of D.C.
Okay.
What's happened? What could happen? Why it's happening?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not as large as Los Angeles. It's 800 National Guard, but you have on top of that, you've got some Army troops, you've got some ICE agents, you've got, I mean, in total, if you put together all of these various groups, and I think one of the purposes that Trump is actually in the back of Trump's mind, if there is a Trump mind, is that this is a trial run. I mean, he wants all of these different groups, Homeland Security and parts of ICE and parts of the police, the federal troops. He wants them all to be working together under a centralized command because he wants
that reports straight to him.
That reports to him or to the people around him. And Heather, I hope I'm not being paranoid when I say this, and I apologize if I am, because you know I am not a conspiracy theorist.
No.
But I do believe that much of this is in anticipation of the 2026 election, just like what he's doing in Texas, and he's trying to round up additional seats for Congress, for Republicans, so that he can control and maintain control of both houses. What he is doing is readying in case he wants to declare a national emergency under the I mean, there are a number of acts that he could be using. But, my fear, and this is just my fear, and again, it may be paranoid, but with Trump, you can't be too paranoid.
No, that's what I was going to say. But what's the long-term play? You think he'll have Vance run and he thinks he'll still be controlling from the back?
Well, I think the long-term, I think, again, I don't know how much of this is explicit. I doubt it's been written down. But I think it's really an end to American democracy as we have known it. The substitution.
I refuse to stand for this.
Well, none of us can stand for it. I mean, we cannot allow this to happen. And Americans across the country are doing huge amounts.
Right.
I mean, you, and we'll get to this, you are doing a huge amount right now. And you're doing it well. You're doing it locally. You're doing it under the radar of the, national media is picking up a lot of it, but to the extent that it's centralized, it becomes a target for Trump. Trump can do exactly what he did with Black Lives Matter. So it's very smart to keep this decentralized.
But so here we are looking at the larger landscape, and I'm watching Gavin Newsom. It's been very interesting, right? He says, if you gerrymander, I'll gerrymander. It's a chess game. He says, I'm not going to move 10 steps ahead because that's not okay, but I will move one and match you. But I think we are going to be looking for who in the Democratic Party is seeming like they might take on Trump. And it's interesting to watch him, don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, and the most important thing that he's doing now, I used to be chairman of Common Cause, the citizenship lobby, the citizens lobby that was very, very intent on getting rid of gerrymandering. And so that in terms of my good government hat, I don't like the idea of California gerrymandering in response to Texas. But the way Gavin Newsom is doing it, I actually appreciate, because he's saying, I don't want to do it. Texas, you could trigger us in California to do it if you go through with your super gerrymandering. That is, getting additional 5 seats for the Republicans, as Trump has asked you to do. But we will only do it as much as you do. That is, this reminds me of the old doctrine of mutually assured destruction.
Right.
In nuclear theory, nuclear game theory, because Democrats need to, around the country, Democratic governors, Democratic legislators, and legislatures, they need to respond to a counterbalance with Republicans, so that it makes no sense for Republican governors and legislators to try to do super gerrymandering.
But is this the first example of someone responding to Trump in a big way and his minions. I mean, not just him, but kind of
Well,
feels like it.
absolutely. I mean, Gavin Newsom is lining himself up. I mean, it's a smart strategy, but it's also a smart strategy for Gavin Newsom.
That's what I was thinking.
Because Gavin
Yep.
Newsom does want to be the major contender
Right.
of among the Democrats.
Now, so in D.C., this is very scary for people in D.C. and D.C. residents. We are seeing that this is normalizing violence in a way that is unbelievable to me in the United States of America.
Some poor guy, is angry and he throws a sandwich at one of the troops, and he's arrested for throwing a sandwich.
Oh, yeah. He said, "Get the F out of here," and he threw his sub sandwich.
I mean, a sub sandwich is not even, it's mushy. It's kind of a, I mean,
Well, it depends.
if he threw a rye bread sandwich.
Rye bread, or even, like a really well toasted BLT.
Oh, a BLT.
That could have cut
Well,
someone.
BLT is dangerous. I mean,
Right.
that's a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah, but a
itself.
sub with squeaky turkey in it?
A sub
Ugh.
kind of, and so it hit somebody. I mean, a troop
Yeah, and
or
so
an
then he
FBI
was
agent.
arrested, and then he tried to say, "I'll turn myself in," and then they did it again,
And
they're
wasn't
now
this guy
using
who
him.
threw the sub? Wasn't
Sandwich.
he the sub sandwich? Wasn't he part of the Justice Department?
Yeah, and then he was fired. But this is the point. They're pulling it out. They're making these videos about it with all these people. It took thousands to take this guy down. I mean,
They
it's
being the Trump administration.
yes, and it's this. They're eventizing and dramatizing, and then putting it on social media where everyone consumes
See,
it.
that's the second big theme here, because not only are they is this a trial run for 2026 in terms of national militarization, but it is also an attempt to try to bait the crowd, bait the public, bait angry Democrats. It's a Democratic city, and bait them into taking some violent action, like
And what do
throwing
we
a
say?
Subway sandwich.
What do we say? Be careful. Don't
don't do it. I mean,
right. But protesting peacefully,
a peaceful
lovely.
protest, yes, but they are trying to goad.
This is your point.
They are trying to get a reaction. So don't react. I mean, I think I have talked to many of you, some of you around the country. Some of you want to make this into an opportunity for millions to march on Washington. Don't take the bait. This is exactly what Trump wants.
But protest peacefully where you are. I mean, it's just, what he would love is we all descend on D.C. and then
Exactly.
he gets to say, "Told you so." But also, can we talk about how racist this all is, too? I mean, come on. So much of this.
Well, he even announced, that is, Trump announced when he did this, when he was going into Washington, that he was going to focus on major cities like Baltimore, like Oakland, California. And you know that these major cities are, number one, Democratic cities, and number two, they have a lot of people of color, both black people
And black mayors.
and black mayors. And so, this is also either directly or indirectly, subliminally appealing to the MAGA base.
Bingo.
It's saying, you white, rural, the people that hate cities, I am going to really get those cities under control. And he makes up complete fabrications.
Oh, and they all go for it. I mean, you saw that Senator Mullen, I think it was, from Oklahoma, says, "Listen, when I drive around, I can no longer wear a seatbelt because I need to be ready for a carjacking and be able to sprint at any moment."
Well, this is the mythology.
Did you hear what I said?
Bananas. It's bananas, but this is the mythology on which Trump is building.
Yep.
And there is a deep-seated fear, and it's not new, of cities, of large metropolises. And
Where
even
crime
though,
is down, not that we pay attention to data
well, in
anymore.
Washington, D.C., crime is down 30%
Yep.
from its peak. I mean, it is still a problem, but it is not nearly the problem it was. The trend is in the right direction, but what Trump wants the people to believe is that there is this national emergency. In fact, he keeps on coming up with more and more fabricated, fake national emergencies to justify his fascism.
Yep, and Pam Bondi, everyone else just gets behind and says, "Yep, we need this as an emergency, and now we need to get ready." And you saw the Domestic Civil Disturbance Quick Reaction Force.
Well, let's stop right there. The Domestic Civil Disturbance Quick Reaction Force. This is something that he is preparing. I mean, this is in the planning stage. again, put this into the context we have been talking about. This is a 2026 election coming up in which he wants to control Democratic cities. He wants to intimidate voters, Democratic voters, and he also wants to do it in a way that most of the MAGA base says, right on.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, hello.
No, it's a problem. And so and can we just talk a little bit about the fact that he's tough on crime, supposedly, as we're doing all this?
But he is not tough on crime. He is a
know.
criminal himself.
I know.
How many presidents have we had who've been indicted criminals? How many presidents have we had who have pardoned 1,600 people who rioted at the Capitol?
And who had criminal records, by the way, many of them.
Many of them. He is the most criminal president in American history.
But so what he's doing is he's saying, okay, we need to be ready. I have military. I need the National Guard. They need to be ready, poised at any minute. We're going to have them in multiple places in the country. They're going to be able to zip wherever we need them to zip.
Exactly. Zip and zap. And this is intimidation.
I know.
Heather, this is exactly the same intimidation tactic.
But can we just talk about the fact that it could cost $100 million if they're actually, getting in helicopters and airplanes?
And that's just Washington, D.C. Again, replicate this.
Right,
it's hard to imagine, and let's hope that we are being overly, obsessively cynical here. But imagine if he really followed through on every big city in America and conjured up some wave of crime or some wave of illegal blah or undocumented immigrants. He could possibly shut down the country at a critical instance or make people afraid to go to their voting stations in 2026.
Yeah. Something's got to shift. Also you saw in D.C. that they're just doing the pulling people over. There's the required traffic stops, and then they say, okay, are you an immigrant? Did you do something illegal? Maybe you did, they're...
Well, unlike Los Angeles, you've got these pockets where you can find immigrants, and, they went in, that's what ICE did. They went into places where they knew that there were a lot of new immigrants and took a chance that some of them would be undocumented. But in Washington, there is not that kind of centers of immigration. So what do? They go to the major intersections. They go to 14th Street, and they go to K Street, and they go to places where there are a lot of people, and it's likely that some people are going to be upset enough to throw a soft sandwich.
A soft sandwich. What if it was toasted? I don't know. I don't know what sub sandwich you're picturing.
It is easy to make light of this, and it is, on some sense, it's a cartoon, but it's also
horrific. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare cartoon.
It is a nightmare.
Okay, so he's not really tough on crime. A little bit more on that. So the people he has pardoned, they are fraudsters. They are white-collar criminals. They are, it was of the January 6th, so 1,500 people, you mentioned this, that he pardoned. Of those, they included dozens of defendants had past criminal convictions for charges including rape, manslaughter, domestic violence, and drug trafficking.
Let's be clear. Donald Trump is not a law and order president. He is the opposite.
Law and disorder.
He is a
non-law.
A non-law. The rule of law is out, and also there is no order.
Outlaw.
It's outlaw. It's chaos, and that's exactly what he's done everywhere. So don't fall for the law and order notion.
And the party of limited government.
There is no limited
government.
government.
It's everywhere.
Well, but this is important because all of our frameworks, even talking about the political right versus left, I think if I read once again that Donald Trump is right-wing, there is no, the right wing used to be, as you just said, limited government, conserving what we have, not allowing Democrats to expand government. Donald Trump has put himself in the position of dictator of the United States and has expanded government to the point where he is in every aspect of our society. The Smithsonian institutions, all of our museums, the Kennedy Center, all of our art museums, and all of our artistic funding, and all of our scientific funding, National Science Foundation, and the universities, and going into the universities and trying to negotiate with the universities.
How about news media?
And news media, and the law firms, and now the semiconductor industry.
Yes, can we get into this? So state capitalism is this term I've read, and keeps propping up. But what do you call it? What's happening right now?
I think it's fascist capitalism, because state capitalism would suggest something like socialism, or at least where you have, as in China, when you have the government or the party in a very systemic way making deals with particular companies. Or
interlocked with the private sector.
Yes, interlocked with the private sector, but you don't have anywhere in any system now, until the United States under Donald Trump, a president who is single-handedly directing the private sector to do this or that. And it's not just, semiconductors. Look, he's taken Intel, the president of Intel, and he said, you can no longer be president of Intel. He's now negotiating with Intel about whether its CEO can stay as CEO. With advanced micro devices, he's saying, well, you can get an export license to take your advanced chips to China, but you've got to pay the United States 15%.
Yeah, cut us in.
Where did he get the 15% from? Who knows what that deal actually is? With minerals, there is a shortage of rare earth minerals, and those rare earth minerals are needed. So he has instructed his Defense Department to negotiate with the one company that is actually into rare earth minerals in the United States. And they're negotiating some sort of a deal where the United States, Donald Trump, is going to be in charge of deciding, all of that. And all of his tariffs, all of his trade deals, he has accumulated something in the order of $1.5 trillion worth of chits, of IOUs,
right,
in which all of these other nations say, we will invest in the United States as part of our deal with you, Donald Trump. Who's in charge of deciding what those $1.5 trillion, where it goes, what it is? It's Donald Trump. This is fascist capitalism.
And it's a singular man at the top.
It is one person at the top. Nippon Steel, he says, originally, like Joe Biden, no, you can't take over U.S. Steel. And then he's president, he says, oh, yes, you can take over U.S. Steel, but you take over U.S. Steel in a way that gives the United States a kind of a big part of the revenue.
Where's the free in the free market?
Well,
I
there's
thought this
no
was
free
just
market.
out.
There's no free market. There's not even but again, it's not even socialism. It's not communism. It is fascist capitalism.
How about when he made some phone calls this week regarding the Nobel Peace Prize he wants?
Well, this is, again, do you remember?
Speaking of deals.
When you probably don't, it was before your time.
Try me.
Try me. In the 1990s. Okay, and
I was here.
Were you? Yeah, but you
Big
were
time.
You were a little girl.
Teenagers and 20s.
But you didn't remember. You remember that Donald Trump used to call up the press, and he used to disguise his voice, and he used to say something about how fabulous Donald Trump is, or did this or did that.
I think he does that to himself now. There's like a wave.
But he calls up the finance minister of Norway. And the finance minister of Norway is kind of doing whatever he's doing, whatever a finance minister does in Norway, just a few days ago. And he says, hello, is this, whoever the finance minister's name is, this is Donald Trump. The finance minister did not expect a call.
Wait, is that what he says, or does he say President Trump here, Donald here, or does someone text from his team first and say incoming, we have incoming, big orange, big orange?
The way I heard it reported, there was just a call to the finance minister.
Great.
A cold call.
Right.
So the finance minister is doing his, his
answers.
And he.
Do you think the zip code is the area code is Mar-a-Lago, New York, or 202?
Well, I don't know what the finance minister saw. Donald Trump, and I think he said Donald Trump. Maybe did he say President Trump? Anyway, Minister.
Hey,
this is Donald Trump. I understand you have something to do with the Nobel Peace Prize. Hey, I would, I'm negotiating some tariffs with Norway right now.
Bob, it's so bad.
This actually happened. He wants the Peace Prize. He thinks that he can call up the Norwegian minister and threaten maybe tariffs against Norway as a bargaining chip to get the Peace Prize. He's not all there. He really is not all there.
He's
I'm not sure he ever
earlier,
was.
the back of his brain is if he has a brain. I think he only has the back of the brain. I think that's the only part that's going.
Well,
and any kind of idea that pops up.
There is a reptilian part of your brain. It's kind of the inner. It's the oldest part of your brain.
It's the part that looks like that tail.
Yeah,
and it regrows if you lose it.
That's right.
Yeah,
it regrows, and I think there is a reptilian brain inside our Donald Trump. I was going to say
Wasn't
our
that
president.
RFK Jr. who has the reptile in his brain? Oh,
No, he doesn't. No, he had a worm who ate part of his brain.
Sorry.
But no, I think Donald Trump has a reptile in a reptilian part of his brain. Because how do you explain this fascist capitalism and calling up to get a Nobel Peace Prize?
We can't explain it. Can we talk about the person he has picked to run the BLS? We'll see how long that guy lasts.
This is another example. He kills the messenger, the former head of the BLS. We've talked about this.
Bureau of Labor Statistics jobs were down. We had to reassess because that's how data works.
And
gone. He had to fire her.
He fires her because he says that she is terrible and he doesn't trust the numbers and nobody should trust the numbers. So he undermines the credibility of the most important source of information about the economy in the federal government. It's what everybody in the private sector relies on in terms of jobs and wages.
And everyone in the Fed. Everybody.
It's a monthly report. And who does he replace her with?
E.J. Antoni.
E.J. Antoni. Now, who is E.J. Antoni?
Well, he has a PhD in econ, and he was there on January 6th, but he was just like a bystander hanging out in the crowd.
He was there. Can we just show this picture?
Is there a photo?
There's a photo. There he is. You see that? You see the circle in the photo? He is there on January 6th.
So awful, Bob.
It's not clear that he's what do you mean bystander?
That's what he's claiming.
He's claiming he was a bystander. So he is going to be put in charge, at least Donald Trump wants him to be put in charge of the most important statistical information we have about the economy. And I think the Republicans in the Senate are going to say, absolutely.
Speaking of reptilian brains.
Absolutely, if you want it. But this person has no background. He has no justification. Even the economists on the right, the so-called right, the Cato Institute, the American Enterprise Institute, they're saying he is totally unqualified. He wants to get rid of the monthly report and substitute a report that comes out quarterly, every 3 months. Heather,
the better to fix the numbers with.
The better to fix the numbers. And also, if you have, and again, there are going to be revisions because as more information comes in. It's a monthly report.
Of course you have to revise it. You're going quick at the end of a month.
But if it's every 3 months you have revisions, given the short-term memories of so many people in the United States, and this is not an insult.
Say it again.
Given that many people in America are not really, what were we talking about?
You're Rob, right?
It's overwhelming if you think about how absurd it is where we are right now.
So is this the beginning of the number? We talked about this with the team a long time ago, which was, numbers. We have to be so careful about the government numbers because at least they're the numbers, and we know that those are objective and they're still objective reality. But so now we have new numbers that are coming out, which obviously the economy is slowing. It's not doing well.
Well, this is actually
right.
I apologize for interrupting you.
No, you're into this.
But it's really important
go.
that people understand. It's not just that he fired the BLS commissioner and is replacing her with a hack. It is also that the trend line on the basis of the revisions, and the revisions are based upon new information coming in. And this is standard Bureau of Labor Statistics methodology. You get new numbers, you get more information, you revise the numbers you already had out there.
It's fact-based.
It's fact-based. It's analytic-based. And these people are very careful. They're very careful of what they do. But the trend line is toward fewer and fewer and fewer jobs. We are actually flirting with a recession. We're not there yet, but this is very. I mean, if the economy is heading downhill in terms of job creation that fast, but here's the problem: at the same time, you've got the tariffs going in, which are pushing prices up. Now, what happens if you get a trend line of jobs going down, which we have, and we have prices going up? What's that combination called?
Terrible.
Well,
stagflation.
Stagflation. You got an A. You got an A- in my class.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But so fewer than 1,000 jobs were added in the private sector in New York. I know that's an example that we look at and we say that's not heartwarming,
well,
right?
No, and we know we know various right now. We know specific cities, but when the jobs numbers come out for August, I'm going to be looking at those very carefully because I'm afraid.
I don't want to look at them, so you just tell us on
I
Klatch
will,
what they
I will,
say.
but I'm afraid that we are going to see substantial drops. And again, the reason is, if you are a company and you were trying to make decisions about how much do I invest, how many people do I hire, do I really build this new factory, do I do this or that, you need a certain degree of certainty about the future.
Right.
But if everything is changing around you because Trump is putting tariffs here and putting tariffs there and taking tariffs down and doing this with regard to antitrust, and he's maybe changing his mind on this, you have no idea what the future is going to bring. So
No stability.
You are not going to make those investments, and that means no jobs or fewer jobs.
And then we had, so the two indices that you, of course, are looking at constantly are the CPI, Consumer Price Index, and then the Producer Price Index. And so this consumer one is what people are paying, consumers, purchasers. But then the production one is what sellers what prices sellers are using, right? And so you look at, it's kind of two sides of the same coin, and both of them.
Right. And they're both going up because of the tariffs. And
let's be clear, corporations are passing on the prices that they are facing onto consumers. This is what you said from jump. A lot of good people, Groundwork Collaborative, Public Citizen, people doing the analysis.
If corporations can do it, if they can pass on, they will. And if they are powerful, have a big market share, as most big corporations do, they will pass it on to consumers. So consumers are paying this tariff.
You mean import tax.
Import tax. Import tax. Tariffs are import taxes.
Hello?
Hello. So yes, consumers are paying them. And if you, look at coffee. This is
so important. How's your late show with? Look at you showing off with it. Where did you do Stephen Colbert recently? That's crazy.
I got this is the merch
Want to
you
trade?
get. No, keep this. This is. Can you all say this? This is my Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And if you're on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, you get one of these mugs.
Remember we did Morning Joe and I tried to get them, and they were like, no, you can't take our mugs. But Stephen Colbert is very generous.
Stephen Colbert, well, he doesn't.
Fireside.
The show is not going to go on beyond May. So coffee, the prices of coffee are going to soar because you have, what do you have? You have tariffs, import taxes, right now on Colombia, scheduled to go into effect on Colombia, and all of the major... Brazil, every major coffee producer.
Only 1% of coffee that we drink here in America is made in America. Let's be clear.
Where are you going to get coffee beans in America? Who's going to grow coffee beans in America?
It's hard.
New Orleans? Where do you buy coffee?
NOLA, on that one corner.
There is
the French corner.
There's the French coffee bean corner.
Yeah, the French press corner.
We're not making fun of New Orleans.
No, of course not. But
we're just
first of all, we love New Orleans.
I love New Orleans. But everybody who drinks their coffee in the morning or relies on coffee in the morning is going to be paying 20 or 30% more
Already
for their
up
coffee.
14%, Bob. Already up 14%.
Okay, so this is taking a huge bite out of the incomes of average working people. We're not talking about the billionaires. The billionaires don't care about
No.
paying a little bit more for their coffee.
But remember the Boston Tea Party? I mean, we did it once.
Well,
we Americans.
we can do it again.
We can do it. We get mad about our warm beverages.
Import taxation without representation.
Exactly. No tariffization without representation.
That's exactly right. Now, there was another, the vegetable prices are also
I didn't understand that. Can you tell
up.
us that, Mr. Former Secretary?
Well, I can say to you, and I understand that vegetable prices are going up something in the order of, what do we have, 38%? I mean,
something huge.
Huge. It's just vegetables. Now, food prices are going up, but the vegetables are going up. Why are vegetables going up that fast? Class?
You're asking me?
Yeah,
well, so I assume it has to do with labor.
Well, number one, labor. A lot of the people who the vegetable growers were relying on or have been relying on are people who are here. They are undocumented,
Yep.
and they are very afraid,
Yep.
and they are leaving, or they're being arrested,
Forced to
and
leave.
they're being put in prison camps, or they're being shipped to another country. So the growers don't have a labor force, or at least a labor force that is willing and able.
What's another reason? Fertilizers, maybe?
Fertilizers
So
and the cost of
inputs
fertilizers
are
going up,
Right.
And the fertilizer is an import. It's an import tax, and that's going up.
Also, climate change. How about that?
Well, climate change. And what is the Trump administration regime doing about climate change?
Making it worse.
They're making it far worse.
They're accelerating it. I think that's the name of the.
So we
change
just are
worse
looking
again.
at vegetables, but if you look at anything else, you were also seeing. I mean, other things are starting to rise in price, and this is a huge problem for the economy. And Donald Trump doesn't want us to know. Walmart.
Well, guess what? We know.
Walmart was going to put on its products how much an increase of the price was due to the import tax, and the administration said, don't do that. And the same thing with Jeff Bezos. Amazon was going to put a little tag on how much you're paying more because of the import tax.
No, delete
and the administration,
that. Delete that.
The administration said,
Don't
no.
include that.
Don't include what?
The little tag.
Don't include the tag.
Yeah.
No, it's this. I mean, he doesn't want us to know anything. This is the BLS again.
But so in terms of the BLS, so oftentimes you tell us what we can do as individuals, but what can Dems be doing? I mean, if any Dem approves,
You're talking about Democratic
AJ,
members
Dems,
of Congress.
Yeah, capital D Dems.
The Senate Democrats should not give him
AJ
one
Antoni.
vote.
Right.
AJ Antoni. Now, it is true that Senate Democrats are in the minority, but it might be that they can peel off 3 or 4 Republicans because, again, there's so much opposition on the right of the established economics profession. I have not heard any single economist except maybe Steve Moore. Do you remember Steve Moore?
No, should I?
You should, because
Did we have coffee with him?
Well, he's a very
I do know
right-wing
Steve Moore,
economist. He worked for the Heritage Foundation.
Yes.
He has come to the defense of Antoni, but he's the only one.
So this week, I'm transitioning. I can't take it another minute. Do you mind if I find something nicer to
No,
talk
no.
about? I mean, it's still grim. Don't get me wrong.
It is so grim. I mean, I am
So
beside myself.
This week was the birthday. Happy birthday to Social Security. 90.
It was. Let's
90.
And actually, the person who is most responsible for Social Security is my predecessor at the Department of Labor, Frances Perkins.
But she wasn't your immediate predecessor.
Not my immediate predecessor.
Because I think
she was there in the 30s.
Right.
And she was, she was the patron saint of American workers. She came up with unemployment insurance.
She was so cool.
The 40-hour work week with time and a half for overtime. Social Security. She actually created all of the worker protection. I mean, almost all of the worker protections we now take for granted.
First woman in the cabinet.
She was the first woman in the cabinet.
And we used to see her in that little hat and her mink stow, are all the pictures that I remember of
and
her.
it's an amazing story. You know, I when I got to be labor secretary, I came into the office. It's a gigantic office. I mean, the room is overwhelming. I mean, it's bigger than the house I live in, and it's also beautiful. There 2 walls are glass from ceiling to floor, and you get a gorgeous view of the Capitol, of the dome of the Capitol.
I read about that in your book. You talked about that.
Yeah, I mean it's overwhelming, but I couldn't find Frances Perkins' portrait. Now I knew there had to be a portrait of her because they do portraits of every Secretary of Labor.
Where was she?
I found every other Secretary
behind
of Labor. I didn't find. I looked, and I had other people help me. We looked. Finally, in a back room in a closet, there was Frances Perkins' portrait.
Did you dust it off?
We pulled it out, and with a lot of help from other people, we restored it. It was very in bad condition.
That's not nice.
Well, the Republicans didn't want to recognize her, so we did the best we could.
Put her in the closet.
And put her right behind my desk.
Oh, I love this.
And every day I came into work as Secretary of Labor, I would salute Frances Perkins.
Oh, Bob, I love that. Didn't she witness that horrific fire in New York? The
Triangle Shirtwaist Factory
Yes.
fire in 1911.
Hundreds died, and it was just, there were bad working conditions, and it was overpopulated.
126 women, young women, who were working in this garment factory, sewing. And the fire engines, they could only get their ladders up to the 8th floor.
Oh, that's
And this was on the
horrific.
11th floor.
Oh, Bob.
And Frances Perkins was there. She was on the sidewalk. She was looking. And these girls, I mean, they were girls. And they were jumping out of the 11th floor window and killing. And they all, died. 126 died. And Frances Perkins at that moment said to herself, American workers, not just men, but women, need protection. They need a better deal. And she went, when Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected, she went to him and said, Mr. President, I'm so excited you are now president. I want unemployment insurance. And I also want Social Security. I want everybody to be able to retire and have money to retire on.
These workers they're so critical.
And I want to strengthen labor unions.
And their people.
And and he said, okay, so I will make you labor secretary, and you can do that.
That's so fabulous.
Yeah.
And I like that you brought her portrait out. Okay, I have to mention a couple things. One is that your book, I know you're going to kill me for this, which is right here, Coming Up Short, A Memoir of My America, a memoir of his America, was number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Bob, it's so great. I love seeing that.
Well, I mean...
number 1.
Okay, I don't want to talk.
I know you don't want to talk about it. But also, thank you to people who are reading it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Heather. I mean, you helped.
I mean, of course, but our Inequality Media Civic Action donors, they said, I want to be in a running for a book that's signed, and people on bookshop.org, I mean, the system, they were back-ordered.
I was shocked to hear
back-ordered
that it was number 1. It's number 1 on the August 24th. It's starting on August 24th.
I don't understand how, that's in the print version, but right now, if you Google it, I Googled it, by the way. I Googled it. I was like, I wonder if it made the list. And then I basically did a double take.
Well, somebody called me, a few days ago and said, did you hear the news? But when somebody calls you and says deadpan, Heather,
emphasis on the dead.
Did you hear the news?
Yeah. No,
and
I'm always
I was always, oh my God, somebody has died.
Okay.
And he said, did you see the list? And I said, what list? He said, the bestseller list. And I thought, could it possibly be? and I thought maybe we squeaked on.
Yeah.
Maybe. And he said,
it's very cool.
You're opening at number 1. And I started to tear up.
Oh.
I'm such a sentimental
You are.
slob.
No. You're a
I
perfect combination of sentimental and then
no, I
analytical. You have it both.
Well, I never expected it, Heather.
Well, I'm excited.
I'm going to tear up now.
Yeah, I know. Let's keep talking
change
about
this
it.
subject.
Here, let me get it. Let me rip one of the pages. You can use it as a tissue.
So, Heather, what's the story with the movie, The Last Class?
The Last Class. So it is doing incredibly well, thanks to you all, audiences going to see it, finding community in local theaters and art houses. One person described it as the art documentary of the summer, which I think is so interesting because I don't think of it as an art documentary. But apparently, when it's a small film that is going into art houses, that's what we're calling it.
But is it getting to red states? Is it getting
That's
to...
it. So it is shown in over 100 theaters, which is so cool, across 34 states. It's also now in Canada. And these are some of the states that it has been in that Trump won in 2024 and that are considered red states. Some can sway purple. Alaska, Florida.
Wait a minute. Alaska and Florida.
Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas. I feel like I'm Howard Dean that time. And we're going to Kansas and we're going to Kentucky.
Great.
And Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, Ohio, Oklahoma,
This is
Utah, Virginia.
Utah and Virginia. This
movie
is
has gone.
utterly amazing.
It's very cool.
And if you want to know more about where you can see it, you go to The Last Class, all one word.
The Last Class Film.
TheLastClassFilm.com. And you can also bring it to your city
Oh,
or your
yeah.
town.
So if you go to thelastclassfilm.com, first of all, put in your email address, and then we'll update you sparingly. And you'll get all the new stuff about when we're going to do the live watch along, which we've had to punt. And thank you to all of you. Too many people were interested in it, so we're having to restructure it all. So sign up at thelastclassfilm.com, where you can also see the current screenings, which I just talked about, and how to bring it to a theater near you.
Now, you don't have to be in a red state
No,
to bring the,
you can be
to bring the
in
film.
a blue state. You can be in a hazy state. You can be in a fabulous state of mind. You can be in a
What about
depressed state of
depressed
mind.
state? I was going to ask you if that's...
But it really...
But not a cynical state.
That's illegal.
We don't
do
them,
cynical.
yeah.
But it is hearing from people in the form of comments, in the form of emails, is incredible. People saying, I drove 2 hours to see this film and I have now seen it and I would have driven even longer. There's one person who literally designed their vacation around going to Santa Fe to see the film. And they said, I mean, this is what happens when your love language is economics. So dragging the family to see it. And then so happy. And then people loop back and say, I can't believe it. I was so excited to see it, and now I've seen it. We had a theater at the end of the I-95, Interstate 95, at the top of Maine. They hosted it. They got 75 people on a warm Tuesday, which they said was unheard of.
Amazing. Absolutely
and people
amazing.
stick around for conversation and kibitzing, and it's just been incredible to see
It's
the
amazing,
reaction.
and you deserve enormous credit. You are the producer of this film. Elliot Kirshner is the director, but you made this happen.
Well,
Heather.
I mean, some of us were the subject of it. So
that was easy. That was
team
that was
effort and all that.
The front guy. You made it happen, and you deserve extraordinary appreciation and thanks and credit.
Please go see it if you haven't, and please put in the comments your feedback if you have seen it. TheLastClassFilm.com. Okay, so that's that. But then we had this great, I love seeing what people are putting in the comments on this Coffee Klatch, so please continue to do so. We had someone, I thought this was so funny, Cindy Streeter, 2020. You need a bottoms-up toast at the end of your podcast. For those of us at the bottom, still fighting to move up. Love you both for what you do.
I love that.
So
I
we
love
can do
that.
Wait, and then I have one other. Can we just
Let's say-
I have
let's
a
say
lot of coffee in here.
Bottoms
though.
up. Bottoms up. And this is Cindy Streeter. Thank you for your suggestion. And what's the origin of bottoms up? Everybody at the bottom. Everybody who feels that they're at the bottom.
So I think it was
should
England.
go.
And obviously, it has to do with showing that there's no. By the way, I did. Have you done yours?
Oh, I see. I did. Oh, showing the bottom of your cup.
Hold on, I'm drinking. It's showing the bottom when it was a glass, when it was a pint glass, I'm sure. And then there was some story that it was, everyone is going to correct me, and thank you for doing so in the comments, that I think it had to do with the military, and if you had a coin in your glass and you got to the bottom and you had a coin, then you were in the military or some.
Why would you have a coin in your class?
Because you'd been selected, something like that. I don't know. Can someone put it in the comments so I don't seem as
okay?
doofusy?
But I think that metaphorically,
I know,
and I think Cindy's idea is that metaphorically, so many people today feel that they're on the bottom. I mean, not just economically, but kind of in terms of politics and the stresses that we're all feeling. We're all
mental
at the bottom.
health.
So we have to say bottoms up. Bottoms up.
Bottoms up. And then you hold on, I'm almost done.
Well, we have to save enough because we're going to do bottoms up at the end.
I already did it. Okay.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, this was so touching. So someone reached out, and here's what he's saying. He's saying, can you help me find a home for approximately 10 linear feet of boxed original documents, photographs, letters, memorabilia, publications, and internal records from CORE, from 1964 Mississippi
the Congress on
Freedom
Racial
Summer.
Equality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is from the 1964 Mississippi Freedom Summer, which you have spoken about a lot, Bob, given your connection to Mickey Schwerner and these horrific deaths. So basically, Edward Hollander was the Mississippi Corps correspondent, coordinator, photographer. They have original photos of a Klan rally, a burning effigy of Lady Bird Johnson, telegrams from James Farmer, and others. And so what I think we can contact UC Berkeley, perhaps, in their library.
We can. And also, if any of you out
Yes.
there knows of a good place to a university or any place affiliated or with
an archive of some
with
sort.
the civil rights movement, I think that this would be an
Could it be
appropriate.
Medgar Evers University? I don't know. Something. If anyone has an idea, we are going to find a place for it, and we are going to help this person, Jeff, do that. And thank you, Jeff, for reaching out to us.
Yes, thank you,
okay.
Jeff.
So please keep it up with the comments. We do read them, and we love hearing from you, and we love when you correct us. We love when you correct us and we were actually right. We love your questions, your feedback, your humor.
And I love your humor and your feedback. And Heather,
Keeping us going here.
and thank you for everything. And I also want to thank Michael Lahanas Calderon, who is behind the camera today. Michael, we are going to be next week. We're going to be in Houston, Texas. Now, you may wonder why Houston, Texas?
Why Houston,
Well,
Texas?
because Texas is the center of the struggle for democracy. As Greg Abbott tries to respond to Donald Trump's demand for 5 more seats, Republican seats, and does this kind of super gerrymandering. And so we're going to be out there. We're going to find a place to do our
On location.
On location. And I can't guarantee that all Texans are going to be happy with us being there, but we'll do the best we can. I also want to thank all of you. And as I very often say, this is a stress test for all of us. It's a stress test for democracy. It's a stress test for us as individuals. We cannot allow and must not allow Donald Trump and this regime to cast us into despair and hopelessness and cynicism. If I have one important central message for you, it is that cynicism is a dead end, and that is what they want. It's what Trump wants. He wants us all to be so cynical and hopeless that we stop putting up a fight, that we give up. But we will never give up. Democracy, social justice, the rule of law, and everything we care about in terms of our future and America's place in the world depends on keeping this fight and winning this fight. And we will. Heather?
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up.